welcome to the Vinyasa practice and all things warrior. So we're going to start at the front of the mat. We'll be doing a few sun salutations in between the flows. So bringing our feet hip width apart, bringing our hands down by the sides of the body and relax the shoulders, close the eyes and feel all parts of the feet grounding into the mat. The ball of the foot, the heel of the foot and all of the toe mounts pushing into the floor. Have a little softness through the knees, a little tuck under of the tailbone and a lift of the lower belly, a tether of the ribs and hips, a space across the chest and a contraction through the muscles between the shoulder blades. With those eyes closed, try and find a little bit of stillness in this anatomical position, turning the palms forward but relaxing those fingers. Take a scan of the body from the top of the head down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips, just checking in with how that body feels, noticing any tight spots, noticing any injuries, knowing what you have to look after throughout the practice. Make sure you move mindfully and with intention. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and a long sigh out through the mouth. If you're happy then to take that breath in and out through the nose if you can. Just trying to find that slight restriction at the back of the throat, that ujjayi breathing, that heating internal breath. Open the eyes and on your breath in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling, bringing the palms together at the top. And then on your out breath, bend from the knees, fold from the hips, bring the hands all the way to the floor and let the head hang. Your next breath in, straighten the legs, bring the hands either onto fingertips or onto the shins. And then on your out breath, plant the hands, step back with your right foot, step back with your left foot. And then find your way down to the floor, either dropping the knees, untucking the toes or bringing yourself all the way to the mat. And then on your in-breath, push into the hands and lift up the chest. On your out-breath, release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, or rolling straight over those toes if you're doing a stronger vinyasa. And as you come back to down dog, we all meet there. Have a nod, have a shake of the head. Just taking a moment in down dog. Maybe you wish to paddle the feet as you hold this space, depending on how those hamstrings and the calves feel on that posterior chain of the legs. And when you're happy to bring those heels to stillness, take a bend in the knees, take a gaze in between the hands, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow the body to fold over the thighs. The next breath in, come to a half lift, hands on shins. And on your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands back to the floor. On your in-breath, come all the way back up to standing, arms come out to the side, then up to the ceiling, maybe take a little back bend. On your out-breath, bring the hands to the chest. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms together at the top. On the out-breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. On your in-breath, come up to a half lift, either fingertips or hands on shins. On your out-breath, plant the hands and step your left foot back. Step your right foot back to find plank and then make your way to the floor or maybe to a hover if that's where you're wishing to go. If you're on the floor and tuck the toes, push into the hands, lift the chest, baby cobra or up dog. And then release the chest back down or roll straight over those toes or bring your chest back to your thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips to squeeze those heels back. Take a moment in down dog, hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart, creating some space across the chest and those collarbones. Shoulder blades squeezing down towards the back pockets. One more breath here. And then on your next in-breath, bend the knees, take a gaze in between the hands, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow that body to fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift, place the hands on shins or come to fingertips, straightening the legs. Breath out, fold over those thighs. Your next breath in, raise the hands all the way back up towards the ceiling, palms together at the top, maybe take a back bend. And on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. Just take a moment in standing. Before we start to build up on the flow of our warrior poses, we're starting straight away with a balance. So bring your weight into your right foot and raise your left knee up to hip height. From this point, you can keep the knee bent or straighten that left leg out, pushing the heel away. Holding it in this L-shaped position with the left leg forward or bent knee. And then slowly pivot that left leg back, bringing yourself forward with the torso to find your warrior three. Left hip in line with the right, left leg straight, right leg straight. And then if you wish to challenge it a little more, reach forward with the hands towards the front of the room. And then extend through the whole torso, through the crown of the head, down to that left heel. Hold it here just for another breath in standing warrior three balance. And then start to pivot that leg back to meet the right, palms together at the chest. Widen the feet, toes pointing out, heels pointing in. On your out breath, bend into the knees, take it as low as you can into your Malasana squat. Breathe in here, lift up through the chest. Push down into those heels, use those elbows to push those knees out. Deep breath in, long breath out. Your next breath in, push into the heels, root to rise through the feet. Raise the hands up to the ceiling. And on your out breath, bring the hands back to the chest, heel toe the feet back to hip width apart. So this time put your weight into your left foot as you raise the right knee up to hip height. And then if you wish to straighten that right leg out, pushing that heel away towards the front of the mat, holding that standing balance, trying to get the leg of the right as high as you can. And then pivot from that leg, sending it all the way back to the back of the mat. Torso comes in line with the hips. Finding warrior three on that standing left leg. If you want to challenge it more, reach forward with the hands, pushing them forward to the front of the mat, keeping a nice long line from the fingertips down to that right heel. Easy breath in and a long breath out. Your next breath in, pivot yourself back up, bring the hands back to the chest. And find yourself in standing, taking a sun salutation. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, maybe take a back bend. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. On your in breath, come up to a half lift. And on your out breath, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. And then take your vinyasa from here, rolling through, up, lifting through the chest. And then making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing of those heels back. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Then gaze in between the hands, bend the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow that body to fold over those legs. Your next breath in, come up to a half lift. On your breath out, fold back over those thighs. Then your next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Palms come together at the top. And then on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. And just take a moment here in standing. So those same two poses, then we're going to add another two poses on. So bringing your weight into your right foot and bring a bend into your left knee. And then straighten that left leg out if you wish. Just hold it in that standing L-shaped position. And then bring that left leg back. Bring the torso forward to find yourself in warrior three. Then reach forward with the hands if you wish to extend and make it a little harder through those long limbs. And then bring the hands back to the chest. Step back with your left foot. Reach up and over with your right arm and turn and twist to the left side, the right side of the room. Finding our twisted warrior. Your right leg should be forward and your left foot back to the back of the mat. Turn that torso a little more by engaging through those oblique muscles to make that twist. And then bring that right hand back forward. Lift both hands up to the ceiling and drop the left heel internally. Warrior one position. Relaxing the shoulders but lengthening the arms. Hips and shoulders facing that short edge of the mat. And we bend into that right knee, pushing into the outside edge of the left foot and the sole of the right foot. Warrior one position. Then bring those hands back to the chest. Step forward with your left foot to meet the right. Widen the feet as wide as the mat, toes slightly off, heels slightly on. And then take a bend into the knees and find your Malasana squat again. Elbows to the inside of the knees and lift up through the chest. The gaze is forward, or if you wish to close the eyes, close the eyes. Try and engage the outer hips to keep those knees open, but with a little external help with the elbows to push those knees out. One more breath here. Then push into those feet, root to rise, lifting up with the hips, hands up to the ceiling. And then bring the hands back to the chest, heel toe the feet back into centre. And we'll take that poses on the other side. Weight comes into your left foot as your right knee lifts. Choice to keep your knee bent or straighten that right foot out in front of you to find that L-shaped position. And then start to scoop that leg back, finding your warrior three. Torso comes in line with the hip. Try not to let the right hip rise. And then reach forward with both hands. If you want to lengthen that warrior three, challenge that pose a little bit more. Holding for another breath. And then bring those hands back to the chest. Step back with your right foot. Left arm comes up and over, right arm comes forward, and we turn and twist to the left side mat. Finding warrior in twisted. Still bent into that left knee and the back leg's nice and straight, pushing the right heel to the back of the mat. Use those oblique muscles to make that twist in the torso. Then bringing your left arm down and around and up to meet the right. Drop your right heel internally to find warrior one. Hips and shoulders facing the short edge of the mat. Pushing into the outside edge of that right foot. And we've got a little external rotation through that right hip. A bend into that left knee, a compression through that left hip flexor. One more breath here in warrior one. Maybe gazing up to those hands. Then bring the hands back to the chest. Step back forward with your right foot, bringing the feet hip width apart. On your breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms together at the top. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. On your in breath, come up to a half lift, place the hands on the shins or come up onto fingertips. On your out breath, plant the hands, step, hop or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Finish off your vinyasa, either dropping the knees or coming straight to the floor, then finding your up dog. And then take it back to down dog. Lifting of the hips and a squeeze of the heels back. Find that downward facing dog position for a few breaths. Creases of the elbows pointing in towards each other. Space across the collarbones. Length down that back chain of muscles of the legs. One more breath here. And then take a gaze in between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow that body to fold over those legs. Next breath in, half lift, fingertips or hands to shins. Breath out, fold back over those thighs. Next breath in, root to rise, raise the hands. Maybe take a back bend here. And then on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest and just hold it in anatomical position just for a couple of breaths. Maybe close the eyes, find some stillness here. Notice all the muscles working to hold that posture in good alignment. So we're going to do those 4 poses again and then add another 2 on. So bringing the hands down by the sides of the body. Just take a roll of the shoulders in one direction and take a roll back the other way. Bring the hands back to the chest. Weight comes into your right foot as you lift the left knee up to hip height. Either keep the knee bent or straighten that left leg out. Push that heel away. Stay tall through the crown of the head. Stay straight through the right leg. And then bringing that left leg back, bringing the torso forward, finding your warrior 3, left hip in line with the right. And then reach forward with the hands if you wish. Make it slightly more challenging by lengthening that stance, lengthening those hands. And then let that left foot come back to the back of the mat. Bring your right arm back, your left arm forward, and find your twisted warrior. Sink into that right knee. Turn those shoulders a little more by engaging the obliques of the waist. Left leg is nice and straight, right knee is nice and bent. Then scoot that right arm down and around and raise the hands. Drop the left heel down internally, finding your warrior 1, hips and shoulders facing that front edge of the mat. Breathe into that space. Maybe take a little back bend in your warrior 1 and a gaze up to the hands. Then finding warrior 2, right hand forward and your left hand back. Palms facing down. Sink into the hips. Turn the palms up, let the shoulders relax. And then turn the palms back, leaving the shoulders where they are. And maybe sink a little lower into those hips. The right knee is tracking out towards that little toe on the right foot. Push nice and strong into the floor to engage those legs. Keeping the hips low and the legs where they are, turn the right palm, reach forward, and then send that right hand up to the ceiling and the left hand down the back of the left leg. If you wish to find a bind onto that right thigh without coming up in that right knee. Keep everything nice and low. Gaze up into that right hand. Relax that right shoulder towards that right hip and try and keep the lift of the lower belly so you don't collapse into that lower back. One more breath here in reversed warrior. And then bring yourself back to warrior 2. Step forward to the front of the mat and then heel toe the feet out to the sides, hands together at the chest. Sink into the hips and find your malasana here. Elbows to the inside of the knees, then squeeze the outside of the hips. Try and tuck that tailbone under a little more. Push strong and energetically into the feet, particularly the heels. Maybe a feather-light touch through the toes. Lengthen up through the crown, squeeze the shoulder blades together. One more breath in Malasana. And then root to rise, push into the feet, raise the hands up to the ceiling. And then bring the hands to the chest, heel toe the feet back together into the center. And we'll take it on the other side. So this time your weight comes into your left foot as you bend into your right knee. Choice to keep the knee bent or straighten that right leg out. Hold it in the L-shaped standing position. And then pivot that leg back, pendulum it back to find your warrior 3. Keeping that right hip in line with the left. Pushing the right heel back, toes pointing down. And then maybe lengthen out through those arms. Try not to collapse in the centre of the body. Keep that core engagement, rib and hip tether. And then stepping your right foot back, left arm up and over. And find twisted warrior. Palms are facing the left side of the room. The torso feels nice and twisted, wringing out that digestive system, making everything relax through the shoulders. And then bring that left arm down and around and up to meet the right, and drop your right heel internally, palms together at the top. Stay bent into that left knee, maybe take a back bend into your warrior one. Gazing up towards the hands, sinking the hips maybe a little lower. Then find your warrior two, right hand goes back, left hand comes forward, turn the shoulders and hips to the right and sink into that left knee a little deeper. Try to track that knee towards the pinky toe and to stack over that left ankle. Turn the palms up, relax the shoulders. Then turn the palms back, leaving the shoulders where they are, lengthening through the fingertips, the arms, forearms, biceps, triceps. Strong warrior two. Then turn the left palm and reach forward. Raise the left hand up, the right hand either to trail down the right leg or bring it around the back of the body to find a bind onto that left thigh. Try and stay low in the hips. Breathe into that rib cage on the left side body. Relax the left shoulder down so it doesn't creep up to the ear. And feel that internal rotation of that right shoulder if you found a bind onto that left leg. One more breath here. Sink those hips low. Then find your warrior two and then step yourself back to the front of the mat. Feet hip width apart. Palms together at the chest. So we're going to take Sun Salutation B on this section. Breath in, raise the hands, bend the knees, find your chair. On your out breath, fold from the hips, straighten the legs, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, half lift, fingertips or hands to shins. Breath out, step or jump back, plank, chaturanga, roll through, up, lift up the chest. And then take yourself back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Step forward with your right foot, drop your left heel internally, raise the arms, warrior one. Release the hands back down. Step back with your right foot and take a vinyasa, maybe drop the knees, chest, chin, or straight bodies to the floor or chaturanga. Lift up to up dog or baby cobra. Take it back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling over the toes, lifting the hips. Step your left foot forward, drop your right heel internally, hips and shoulders stay forward as you raise the arms, warrior one. Release the hands back down, step back to plank. Choice to go down, knees, chest, chin. And roll through to a baby cobra or an up dog. Make your way back to down dog. Hold it in down dog for a breath or two. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. On your next inhale, gaze in between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over those thighs. Next breath in, bend the knees, raise the arms, find chair. On your out breath, hands to chest. Hold it in anatomical, hands down by the sides of the body. We're going to do those 6 poses, add another 2 on. Relax the shoulders. Close the eyes. Take another moment here. Find everything within, your stability, your strength, your intentions, your determinations, your discipline. Open the eyes, bring the hands to the chest. Weight comes into your right foot as you raise your left knee. Maybe straighten your left leg out, pushing your heel away. Then pendulum that left leg. Send it back, keep the hips level, and find warrior three, maybe an extension of the arms if you wish. And then step the left foot back, right hand up and over, find your twisted warrior to the right. Sink the hips nice and low. Push energetically into both feet. Then bring the right arm back down and around, raise it up to meet the left and drop the left heel internally. Warrior one, hips and shoulders facing short edge. Relax the shoulders down, maybe find a back bend, maybe take those arms a little further out of the gaze. And then find yourself warrior two, right hand forward, left hand back, and sink nice and low in those hips. Turn your right palm, reach forward, reverse your warrior, right hand lift, left hand down the back of the left leg, or find that bind. Sink the hips low again, try not to come out of that depth. And then bringing the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, push the hands down to the floor, and then allow that body to fold to the inside of the right thigh, right shoulder to right knee, let the head hang. Then maybe raise the arms up to the ceiling or slightly away from the lower back. Breathing into that nice long line of the torso. One more breath here. Then release the hands back to the lower back. Bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot. Left hand reaches up and then over towards the front of the room. Gazing towards that left palm. Chest and hips turning to the left side room. Side angle on this side. One more breath here. And then bring your left hand down. We're going to add one more pose on. Come onto the toes of the back foot and rotate to the right, lifting the right hand to the ceiling. Left leg straight, right knees bent, hips are nice and low. Right shoulder stacking on top of the left. Then bring that right hand down, step your left foot forward, heel toe the feet out to the sides. Malasana squat here, dropping into the hips, elbows to the inside of the knees, tall through the crown, squeeze the shoulder blades together, tuck the tailbone under a little more, squeeze the outside of those hips. Easy breath in, long breath out. Let's root the feet to rise, push into the feet, lift up with the arms, and then bring the hands back to the chest, heel toe the feet back to the center. Ready to take those poses on the other side. Weight comes into your left foot as you raise the right knee. Maybe straighten that right leg out, using the hip flexor strength to lift that leg. And then bringing that pendulum leg back, bringing the torso forward, reaching forward with the upper limbs. The gaze is to the floor. Holding in warrior three for the last time. And then bending into the left knee, stepping your right leg back. Left hand comes back, right hand comes forward, twisted warrior. Palms facing out to the left side of the room. Use the muscles in the waist to twist that torso. Then bringing your left arm down and around, raising it up with the right. Dropping your right heel down internally and find your warrior one. Maybe take the arms a little further out of the gaze. Maybe raise that gaze and take a back bend. Really strengthening through the back chain of muscles. And then find your warrior two, turning the shoulders and hips to the right. Palms facing down, bent into that left knee and lowering the hips a little further. Push into those feet. Push into those big toe mounts, little toe mounts. Outside, inside edges, heel and ball of both feet. Then turn the left palm and reach forward. Raise the left arm up, bring your right hand either down that right leg or find the bind onto the left and keep those hips low. Breathe into that left rib cage. Sink into both hips. hips. Feeling that stretch along the left side body, the skin from the armpit down to that hip. And then bring both hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, push the hands down towards the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then bend into the inside of that left thigh, left shoulder to left knee, reaching up with the arms, relaxing through the head, just lifting those arms as much as possible to suit the shoulder sockets. Feeling that twisted warrior. That humble warrior. And then bring the hands back to the lower back. Bring your left hand to the inside of that left foot. Turn the shoulders, stack the right on top of the left. Right hand lifts, then reaches over towards the front of the room. Use that left arm to anchor that left knee to twist that torso a little further around. One more pose to add on the end. Bring your right hand down, come onto the toes of the back foot. Reach up with your left hand, gaze up to that left thumb. Both hips still neutral, the twist still coming from the spine. And turn that gaze. Keep that neck safe. If it's not happy gazing up, gaze to the side or to the floor. Then bring that left hand down, step forward with your right foot and fold over those legs. Next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms together at the top, bring the hands to the chest. Taking another sun salutation B. Bend into the knees, raise the arms, find your chair. Then on the out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in comes to a half lift, fingertips or hands to shins. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips or chest back to thighs. Finding that downward facing dog position. Step forward with your right, drop your left heel internally, raise the arms, shoulders and hips face the short edge. Bring the hands back down to the floor. Step back with your right foot. Take a vinyasa, your choice, knees, chest, chin, or chest to the floor, or chaturanga. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting up the hips, heels come to the floor. Step your left foot through, drop your right heel internally, raise the arms. Release the hands back to the floor. Step back, plank, either chaturanga or lowering to the mat. Your vinyasa choice. Finding your way back to down dog. Holding it in down dog just for a couple of breaths. And then take a bend into the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Widen the feet slightly. So choice to place a cushion underneath the front of you if you wish. We're going to take crow pose. If you don't wish to do crow pose, go into dolphin where the forearms are on the floor, you interlace the fingers and you lift the hips high and the feet stay grounded. If you're coming with me in crow, bend the knees into those armpits, widen the fingers to give space and grounding, and then roll forward. Maybe you just want to lift one foot and then the other. Maybe you lift both. Hold it in crow for as long as you wish. Gaze is down, hips are high. One more breath here for me. And then I'm jumping back and finishing off a vinyasa. Lifting up with the chest. Taking it back to down dog. Holding it in down dog just for a couple of more breaths. Next breath in, bend into the knees, gaze to the hands, step or jump. And then allow that body to fold. On your next breath in, bend the knees, raise the arms, find your chair. Just holding it in chair for a few moments, relaxing the shoulders. Bring the hands back to the chest and bring your left elbow to your right knee and find some rotation to the right. Keep both knees in line, both toes in line. heels in line, and just find the rotation from the waist rather than the pelvis. And then take it the other way, coming back through centre. Right elbow hooks over the left elbow. Push into the hands, turn the chest. Check in with both knees, feet, ankles. Feel that twist again from the waist, trying to bring those thumbs as close to the sternum in the centre of the chest. One more breath. And then release the hands down, fold over the thighs. Then bring the bum to the heels, come onto the toes. Take a moment in balance in crouch. Release the hands away, palms together. Tall through the crown, heels pushing forward, bum towards those heels. And then reach forward with the hands, back with the hips, and slowly lower yourself to the floor, heels to the front. Make your way all the way down onto the mat. Getting to that point where you wish to collapse, and then see if you can hold it there for the count of 10 breaths. Breath in, breath out, 1. Breath in, breath out, 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. Release yourself down whenever you're ready. 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. And release the body down. Bring the knees into the chest. Take a hold of the knees. Give the knees a squeeze, maybe a little rock of that body from side to side. Massaging that spine and thanking it for some practice. Bring the elbows to the inside of the knees, maybe taking a hold of the shins, the ankles, or the outside of the feet, encouraging the knees to the armpits, the thighs to the outside of the ribs, soles of the feet pointing up, heels maybe stacking on top of the knees. Feel that compression through the hip flexors, the space and stretch through the glutes and the lower back. Then bring those knees to inside the elbows, keeping a hold of whatever you've grabbed onto. Try and straighten the legs as much as you can, keeping the lower back as close to the floor as you can as well. Maybe those toes have gone slightly beyond the eye gaze. Shoulder blades pushing into the mat, shoulder sockets drawing down and not lifting too far away from the floor. Widen the legs now and take a stretch on those inner thighs. And then bring those feet back together. Take a bend into the knees. Bring the feet to the floor. Choice to go to butterfly legs or bring the legs long to the ends of the mat. Finishing off in relaxation for a few breaths. Hands down by the sides of the body with the palms facing up. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Maybe have a move of the head in one direction. Bring it back through centre, taking it over to the other side. And back to centre, finding that comfortable space at the back of the head. Maybe you want to give the hips a little rock. Maybe you want to lift the bum and tuck the tailbone to flatten off that lower spine. Taking that lower spine out of lordosis and into neutral. When you've found yourself comfortable, close the eyes, soften the jaw, soften the forehead, the cheeks. Try and let everything be supported by the earth, the whole of the body grounding into that mat. Noticing the parts of the back body that are touching the floor, and are being supported by the mat. So bring the attention to the feet, the space between all 10 toes, the soles of the foot, the ankles, the shins and the calves, the knees, the thighs and the hamstrings, the sit bones and the hip bones, belly, ribs, chest and collarbones, lower, mid, upper spine and neck, shoulders, shoulder blades, upper arms, elbows, forearms and wrists, palms of the hands, 8 fingers, 2 thumbs and the space between them, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose, ears, lips, jaw, chin and throat. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take another deep breath in. Another long breath out. Starting then to wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. Maybe take a little rotation into the wrists, into the ankles. If you wish to take a full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes. Maybe arching into that lower back. And then bringing the hands back up and over. Bringing the knees into the chest. Choice to either roll over onto one side, or if you're coming with me, just rocking up and down that spine a couple of times. Up to seated once, back down. Up to seated twice, back down. And then everybody making the way into a seat. Keeping the eyes closed, crossing of the legs, or coming to the knees if that feels more comfortable. Place the hands on top of the shins. Tuck that chin into the chest. And then roll that right ear across to the right shoulder. Come back to center. And roll your left ear to the left shoulder. And come back to center. Raise the gaze, raise the chin. Extend through the front of the throat and bring it back to center. Turn the head to the right. Turn it through center and over to the left. Bring it back to center, keeping the head in neutral, tilting your right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center, left ear, left shoulder. And back to center. Next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms together at the top. Then bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Take a moment here just to consolidate everything you've just done. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.